Excellent. Good evening, Awoken. Happy Election Day to voters in the Palmetto State and South Carolina. Major election today. We have been covering and focusing on this race ever since we've really call it the summer subplot, as we've been keeping track of this race since former Senator, late Senator Lindsey Graham passed away on July 11th. That created an immediate political vacuum, crisis, emergency situation, as Lindsey Graham's seat in particular is due up this November. So even, for example, we talked about the June primaries, the OG primaries back in June, and Lindsey won his renomination there and advanced to the November election, but due to his unexpected passing, there is a vacuum that opened up. Governor McMaster on, I believe, the 13th of July, just 2 days after Lindsey passed away, announced his intention to appoint his younger sister, Darline Graham, to the seat. Originally, many political observers were expecting this to be a caretaker position where she would hold on to the seat, finish out the term, and then somebody else would seek the full 6-year term after. However, in a Sean Hannity interview, I believe on July 20th, Darline announced her official candidacy to seek out the full 6-year term and the primary nomination. This comes after President Donald Trump encouraged Darline to really hop in the race and run for the full six-year term, so she has the backing of the incumbent president. And that created a major advantage for her. But as we know in politics, nothing is, especially in America, we don't crown people to these offices. They have to be elected. And several other candidates also sought out the seat. In the first round, there were 10 candidates, 5 major candidates that qualified for the first debate, of those being the 2 candidates we have remaining tonight: Darline Graham, the incumbent U.S. Senator, and Ralph Norman, the congressman from South Carolina's 5th Congressional District. And eliminated in the primary, you have Mark Lynch, Mark Sanford, and Russell Fry. All 3 of those candidates decided not to stay silent for the primary runoff. Russell Fry endorsed Darline Graham shortly after his defeat. And that is key because, as you can see here in this eastern part of the state, is Fry's district. Additionally, Mark Sanford and Mark Lynch both got behind Norman. And that is consequential because when you add up the, here, let's see. That's right. I think, hey, what's going on, Alex? Yeah, good evening, everybody. What's going on, Outpost? All right, guys. Yeah, Colonel, what's going on, dog? Okay. Yeah, I can't really see. Yeah, I'm going to have to kind of walk back and forth a little bit tonight. But yeah, we are doing a little different setup tonight, have the live election board. It should be, hopefully, it is scheduled to check in every 30 seconds. So as of now, we believe no results have been reported from the South Carolina state website. Okay, but back to the 5 candidates. When you tally up Graham and Fry's percentage of the vote, that's about 52.5% or so of the vote. And when you tally up Norman and the 2 Marks, you get about 45.5%, 46%. So going into Election Day, if you assume everyone's going to cross and carry over, Graham would have a noticeable advantage, but that does not come without controversy. Graham and Norman, they had one debate, just the 2 of them, the remaining 2 candidates. And I'm sure you guys have all seen it by now, the disastrous gaffe or misstep or non-answer, really, from Darline and company about the question of Taiwan. She stated she really didn't know what the deal was, if it was a national security issue, and opponents of her pounced on that answer, and it really gave new life to Norman, because had it not been for that, I think most political observers would agree this would probably not be as competitive as it is going to turn out to be tonight. Norman, his congressional district is this northern little chunk up here, Greenville, one of the biggest, it's the biggest GOP stronghold in terms of votes in the county. He carried this heavily in the first round. He's going to have to do that again, and probably by a high percentage if he wants to get statewide. Okay. Let me do a little check. I got the computer going too. Let's see if there's been any other results that have been reported. Let's do refresh. Okay, yeah, so, all right, there might be a small little deal here. Yeah, we're getting no reporting from the okay, we'll kind of let that go. I can provide general commentary as we go anyway. Yeah, what's going on, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Just before we really hop into the thick of things, make sure to please leave the video a like. Also hit that subscribe button as well. Leave me a super chat. We are still trying to get this stuff working exactly, but we're going to see what we can do if we can get like an updated version or something like that. Let me just say right now, the auto feed is not picking up any of the votes at the moment, but there are other methods that we can try for the time being. Okay, so as I was just mentioning, though, you have Greenville over here, a huge county for Norman. He's going to have to run it up, and his home being in Spartanburg, that's his home county. Excuse me, it's actually, I believe, York is his home, York County. This is his congressional district: Greenville, Spartanburg, Cherokee, Union, York, Chester. He's going to have to perform really well there. And in particular, this Russell Fries district, that's why that endorsement was so consequential for Graham in the first round, because Norman, in some of these counties, he didn't even get third. He ran behind Sanford, and he did not really perform particularly well. Not if he performs at about the same baseline that he did in the first round, it might be a long night for the Norman campaign. In particular, and Graham, she's going to do pretty okay in these southern counties. Her home county is Lexington County, so expect maybe a little bit of a boost for her. And there's been several other major endorsements by other political figures in South Carolina and in U.S. politics in general. Senator Katie Britt of Alabama is behind Graham, also Tim Scott, John Barrasso, some other senators. For Norman, though, Norman has picked up key endorsements from Mike Lee, senator from Utah, based Mike Lee, and Senator Rick Scott of Florida. So he has some more Freedom Caucus type. Chip Roy of the Freedom Caucus, congressman from Texas, has gone behind Norman as well. So Norman has some impressive endorsements from GOA, Gun Owners of America, and Turning Point Action as well. So it's a dogfight. Nancy Mace, congresswoman from the state as well, including the 2 marks. So Norman has a good camp of people that are backing him and trying to get him across the finish line. Yeah, Horry County is going to be pretty huge. And then obviously Anderson County, that's going to be pretty, that area is going to be huge as well. So here we're going to see, I just had chat run me a new system. So here I'm going to turn the screen off just for a moment and we'll be back in like 30 seconds. So give me 1 sec, everybody. Okay, we're going to try. So our model wasn't updating, wasn't able to really get it. So we are going to try. We'll just use the NBC model. That's already out there. I'm sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, what's going? Yeah, sorry, but we should be back. We should be ready to go. And once I stand back here, it should be able. Not sure how well you guys can see this in particular. If the AWA board comes back on, we'll use that instead. But here, all right, so we got a quick little update already. It's about looking Oh, actually, sorry. Let's go to the runoff. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. It looked way too, all right, come on. It may be a little harder to see. Okay. Alrighty, so kind of, yeah, it's already looking at, yeah, let's go the chat, change the chat. All right, sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, we're trying new stuff. You know, we're still going strong, and we're still going to give you excellent election results. Okay, so as you can see, kind of what I was talking about, Norman's, his territory is this little northwest corner. That's probably most of the only counties he's going to win tonight, and he's just going to have to run it up there. No questions asked about that. It looks like not much of the vote in particular has been reported right there. Here. So yeah, like you see Greenville, the Norman's largest county that he's going to need to run up, only 0.5% in, and he's already up 70-30. So those are the kind of numbers he's going to need if he's going to win tonight. So hey, all right guys, everybody. All right, W's in the chat. A $9.99 super chat from Jenny Harrell. He says, great outfit. Thank you very much. Yeah, we love the purple. We got the purple shorts on still. As always, we still got that summer heat as well, but nothing that we can't stop. So thank you very much, Jenny Harrell, for the super chat. Okay, guys, yeah, it's going to be a close one tonight. But I also would like to read something as well. You know, let's go to... I guess, so I did mention that we do have the channel's first sponsor, Compass Caging LLC. So I want to read the official script for you all. Hey everyone, I want to thank today's sponsor, Compass Caging LLC. Compass Caging is a Washington, D.C. based contribution processing company, also known as Caging, serving campaigns, PACs, and nonprofit organizations across the country. Compass helps organizations process campaign contributions and donor mail accurately, securely, and efficiently, allowing them to focus on advancing their mission. Compass Caging is proud to work with a number of leading organizations across the nation, including major PACs, policy groups, and legal advocacy organizations. If you're involved with a political campaign, PAC, or nonprofit that's looking for a trusted contribution processing partner, I'd love to connect you with the team at Compass Caging. You can reach out to me after the show, and I'd be happy to make an introduction. Okay, so everyone, please, round of applause for our first sponsor on the channel, Compass Caging LLC. They do great work over there. Lots of great people, patriots running the show. So would definitely encourage you guys to check them out. Happy to share more information with you guys after the show regarding their services. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, LFG Compass. Yep, finally got that ad read. Hey, what's going on, Z? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Great seeing everybody. Where's my notebook? Yeah. Here. So if you guys didn't catch the Darline Graham preview episode last night, last night's episode, we were really just looking at who Darline Graham was, and then we transitioned into the election coverage itself. But some key points. Obviously, this timeline, we've been following this Lindsey Graham situation all summer. Essentially, so you have America 250. That next week, Lindsey, he passes away unexpectedly following a trip from Ukraine. Some people might believe foul play could have been involved. Not really looking to be that conspiratorial, though. He was a 71-year-old man. was not Iron Man in particular in any fashion. And sometimes, sadly, senior citizens have heart attacks and medical episodes and they pass away. So regardless, he passes away, and that triggers this special election, right? His seat is due up in November anyway. So the GOP, the Democrats already have their nominee. I think Annie Andrews is her name, a pediatrician. Not really, much about her, honestly. This is kind of the general election tonight. Anyway, but then on the 13th, Governor Henry McMaster of the state of South Carolina announces his intention and appoints Darline to the critical Senate seat. The next day, the 14th, she takes the oath of office and is officially a U.S. Senator. During her tenure as senator, she has, as you guys see me when we're on Capitol Hill in the field trying to talk to members, there's other, you have major media companies, you have other independent journalists like myself, and her team essentially instructed her not to talk to anybody. So we did not hear anything from Darline Graham until the, here, let's get this back going. Sorry about that. I want to see the, you're right, I should be able to see some of the comments a little easier as well now. Okay. So we did not hear anything from Miss Graham, the senator. She did not respond to questions from, hallway interviews, quick hallway interviews. Really did not know much about her at all. On the 20th and the Sean Hannity interview, she announces her intention and her formal candidacy to seek out the full 6-year term. Let's see. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. And if you guys caught the show last night, you knew that she was the head honcho, the commissioner of the South Carolina Commission of the Blind, a state organization, state agency, rather, excuse me. And she helped run that. And through the information I was able to gather, everything was quite well. The agency served more blind individuals, helped them find a job, got them into the workforce. So everything in that regard seems okay. We also did find that just 2 weeks before Lindsay passed away and before she would eventually become senator, that there was a handsome salary request that had occurred later, I think November 25. That gets approved in this June meeting. I did FOIA requests, got all that information for you guys. So we did a lot of stuff, to be honest with you, and trying to figure out who Senator Graham is, right? We don't really know who she is as a person. Okay, and then we kind of got into the preview of the election, what Norman has to do really well. So I know Senator Graham won this county last time, so that's already a positive sign for Norman and company. That would be a flip if he's able to win that. And we're really just going to have to see how some of these Fry voters broke, and if the Sanford and Lynch voters got back out for Norman today. I do think there has been some, if you kind of look at how some people in the state reacted after Darline had that stumble with the Taiwan question, there seemed to be a lightning bolt, some energy for Norman's candidacy, which is what he absolutely needed. He was not going to be able to get very far without that. And so if you look at the results on the 11th, 2 weeks ago, so 1 week ago was the major debate. And 2 weeks ago was the first round of voting, okay? 1 month after Lindsay passed away. Graham got around almost 110,000 votes in the first round, slightly under 33%, so around a third of the vote. And Norman got 24.6% of the vote at about 82,500 some odd votes. So that's kind of their base, right? All Norman really had to do was advance to tonight. That was his big objective, and he was able to achieve that. And really stave off Fry. Fry being a younger congressman, some people potentially thought he'd be the appointed member by Governor McMaster because he'd be a long-term investment into the, he could be able to build quickly and have some time to build. As we know, this Senate seat in particular, only 2 people have held it before Darline since 1950 or so, in the last 75 years. Because, Strom Thurmond held on to the seat forever. I think he was over 100 years old before he passed away while in office. And I think that triggered Lindsay, not Norman. Thurmond might have resigned or not ran for re-election a couple years before he passed away. But you remember they were wheeling him around. Thurmond also known for, before last year, having the longest standing filibuster in Senate history. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey broke that last year with I think 25 or 26-hour filibuster, a very long time. And Fry got slightly under 20% of the vote, so that's a pretty big chunk, right? Sanford got about 15%, and then Lynch got about 6%. So not as much from Lynch and Sanford there, but you combine them, that's Fry. And that's basically the difference between Fry and Graham and then Norman and the 2 Marks right now. Okay, just got a quick little update there. 57-43. Here, we're going to go, I'm going to squat down and let's see some of these counties in particular. What percentage of the vote of these counties are in. All right, so really good news for Norman because Spartanburg County, no votes in yet. And then Greenville as well. He's going to have to run up the score here. And a good chunk of these Graham counties have 15 through 30% of the vote in. Like Lee County, not a very populous county, already about halfway in, and she's only going to net a couple hundred votes from there. So right now, Norman is still in good shape. I wonder if we can get like the New York Times needle as well up here. We got a couple comments on the screen here. Call her Nordone. That is true. Yeah, her real name is Nordone. She officially changed the name for the political reasons. And I've discussed this a couple times before, why she did that. And it's this thing called widow's mandate, actually. This is happening in Louisiana right now as well. Soon to be Senator Julia Letlow of Louisiana only became a congresswoman because during COVID, her husband died. Her husband died in 2020, and the state party, you don't appoint congressmen, but essentially encouraged her to run and seek out the term, seek out future terms, and you keep the seat, right? You have the same last name. This is just a modified version of that. It's very rare, or I should say it's uncommon, that senators are single, or at least not, never been married or whatever. And Lindsay was unmarried, so he did not have a wife to pass the seat on to. And Darline, the sister, that was probably the thinking there. So it could have been an emotional appointment as well. All right, Lindsay, he had been in politics for so long. Let's appoint his sister. So essentially, It's a widow's mandate appointment. It's the same. She changed the last name. The voters are a lot of people today. I guarantee it. Thousands of people today voted for her because they recognize the last name, especially in these southern counties in particular. All right, so about 13% of the vote in, and Norman is still at his baseline, so he's still okay. Last time, during the first round, the votes came in relatively quickly, so hopefully we won't have to be on forever, but we're ready to marathon this special election night, special election coverage with you guys. And we got some W's in the chat from Fred's lady. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, the Colonel's still here. Yeah, we had a couple of other new people on. Boatface123 and Sands was here as well. Mud Butters was here a couple minutes ago. So yeah, great to see a lot of the gang on here with the Awoken community, right? Would additionally love to encourage you guys, hop in our channel's Discord. You guys would know right when I'm about to go live. I usually send an update. Also would love to, if I have any in my pocket. Darn, I don't. But also wanted to thank Eli again in our Discord for producing the business cards. That's going to help us on Capitol Hill when we're building rapport with more offices and more members. Makes us look a little better. So also want to thank Eli. I gave him a shout out in the Discord as well. But also just if you see his YouTube name, it should be Eli Jazzy or something of that nature. And he helped our business cards, helped design those as well. So a little programming for the rest of the week. We'll probably do a live tomorrow. So if you guys recognize, this is a different, we haven't really done a stream like right in this specific location before. It's because I'm not in DC right now. I'm out of the city. It is August recess. Everyone's got to get out of DC a little bit. Per usual, right? The members go home the entire month, basically. A lot of the staffers will, head out of town as well for a little bit, maybe vacation, or August weren't site visits. Well, I just kind of took mine, had to get out of DC a little bit. So I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of my home city here this week. So yeah, lots of cool stuff here. Not sure what time or which days will exactly go. Okay, just got another about 16% of the votes in now. And still, yeah, there's still a lot of votes left. If you add these, just a little over 50,000, there's going to be about another 320 some odd thousand votes remaining. Here, I wish. See, what we need next is I need like a touch board. Yeah, remember in school, in elementary school and high school growing up, you had those big boards. I can't remember, Promethean boards. That's at least what we had. And you could, have the pen and kind of just, we'll have to use my computer mouse for tonight. But Norman is still doing what he needs to in his congressional district. And Graham is doing about what we expected as well in the rest of the state. Still nothing in Columbia yet. I believe the entire state closes at the same time. I think the state's all on the same. Oh goodness. Time zone. That's what I was trying to think of. USS Liberty asks what APAC candidate is going to win. Yeah, we're definitely not getting change in that regard tonight. But Norman is, in terms of what we do believe on, us being, more dissident, right, or maybe further anti-establishment, right? Maybe Awoken, right? Norman is he is going to side with us a lot more than Nordone is or will in the future. Norman, he was the original sponsor of the SAVE Act in 2020, which has now evolved to the Save America Act in 2026. And that's why you saw people like Senator Rick Scott and Mike Lee get behind him and endorse him in this primary runoff. Because of that, Norman also is probably, especially in the House, he's a top 5 member in terms of like members that are furthest to the right wing. And we just don't know much about Nordone/Graham, right? So, and obviously Lindsey, right? What did Lindsey Graham represent? Regime change everywhere, whether it was regime change in Libya or Yemen, Lebanon, Venezuela, any other Latin America country. One of the biggest proponents of regime change in the Kremlin, in Russia, one of the strongest defenders and supporters of Ukraine. Wanted regime change in China and Beijing as well. Norman is definitely not like that. Yeah, let's get this type. Perfect. Okay, so we got some results from, I believe that's going to be Spartanburg County. Now let's check that out. Nordone, Italian. All right, so that's, so let's say if this holds, if Norman can win about 2-1 with about 16% in, he's going to net thousands of votes here. That's what he needs. Here, let's go to, maybe we can get the Kornacki cam on YouTube as well. Yeah, see, because he has kind of these. All right, big update in Greenville County, where Norman's going to have to run up the score a ton in particular. If he's doing about 70-30 here, then he's going to potentially have over 10,000 votes netted there, and that's what he exactly needs. So Norman, he's doing about what he needs to right now. See, we'll kind of have the Kornacki cam in the corner. So this is just like slightly behind what that is. Yeah, see, he's kind of doing the same exact thing I'm doing, right? It's going to be how much can Norman run up the score in these northern counties, and how much can he pick off and improve off of his first round performance in the 7th Congressional District where Russell Fry resides. Well, we do also have another special election in Oklahoma that we will kind of pump into real quick here. We'll get that pulled up as well. Here. Yeah, it stinks the AWA, the feed's offline. Yeah, it's just going to take a little bit longer to really get this working up properly, sadly. That would have been really cool. But we can go with some of the other numbers. That's not going to ruin the day. let's go here. All right, so we're about 10 minutes out from Oklahoma closing, and there's a couple of other exciting races that we'll kind of do a little bit on. So this Georgia House District 13, I know that district is a pretty safe blue seat. Scott might be okay, it's a different candidate. Oh no, so this is a different seat then. Okay, my mistake. So it looks like Mr. Blair is doing what he needs to right now. If there's only about 11,000 votes remaining, there's just not going to be a whole lot of opportunity for Marcy Scott to really hop in there. We'll kind of, this isn't our main show tonight. We'll head back to the South Carolina, though. And here, I'm going to check Twitter as well, see if we have any new if we can get anything updated. Yeah, see what Twitter's saying. We always like checking out what Twitter's up to, so. Okay, so on Kalshi politics, on the, all right, so this is pretty big. So they moved up Norman's live odds of winning to be about 44%. He hasn't been that high ever. So they're definitely seeing something there. Here, let's do a quick, let's check out Kalshi again. Get out of this. I don't want that. Man, it's always be a little slower. Okay, guys, bad news. Darline Graham is at a live 98% chance to win the Senate seat. Probably, I wonder what made them, I wonder why that changed so quickly. Norman, he seems to be doing what he needs to in his counties, but maybe there's just not going to be enough vote. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these other counties, they're still not much reported. Oh, no, okay, I see why. Yeah, Norman, he's not really doing any better in Horry County. This is the district. This is the area where Trump and company had that rally for the incumbent senator on Friday. Oop, hang on. Could you move the camera closer? Yeah, here, let's give that a shot. Here. All right, this is about as close as I can move it because then it's going to start cutting out some of the screen. So let me know what that's like. All right, awesome. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, if she's going to run up the votes and in the 7th Congressional District, then Norman doesn't really have much left, I think, unfortunately. And let's see. Oh, no. Yeah, not a whole lot of, seems like Norman Twitter has kind of sunk a little bit. We'll keep checking Twitter, though. Not huge right now. Yeah, and we're also going to go back. Let's see how. Yeah, some of these other counties are starting to fill up a little bit. Okay. What's going on? Yeah, it may work better in DC. Thing is, what's going to be, yeah, the problem is the Awoken board ultimately did not work. Yeah, the AI could not pull through for me. So that's kind of a deterrent right there. We're not on. Yeah, we're only live on the cell phone as well right now. We're not live on the computer as well. So maybe that has something to do with it. But it's not looking particularly great right now. I thought Norman was doing fine, but. So, okay. All right. So let's get into some commentary. Explain the Awoken board. So it was supposed to, AI wasn't supposed to populate it necessarily. What it was supposed to do is it was supposed to feed it from like the South Carolina State Board. So if you see in this top right corner, right here in this auto feed, right here, it is not the middleman across the way either. The South Carolina State Board is blocking the code, or I was using ChatGPT. And I was able to do a couple versions. Like the first, South Carolina state map looked pretty terrible. So I'm like, hey, make it look a little better. And it has all of the counties. And what I still can manually do is here. You can go. So here, let's go to Greenville, right? Very big, important county. And let's say she gets 6,000 votes. But Norman gets 15,000. You can update the county, and it would show you. Norman has 71% of the vote. Graham has about 29% of the vote, but it's just not, just really not working. So, tried this earlier today. Didn't really. Didn't build it myself, obviously, but it's just, it's good practice. We'll get it right here at some point. But damn, that would have been really cool had it worked. And let's see if there's any messages that are popping up. Okay. Yeah, just kind of stinky situation, but nothing that we can't fix in the future. Not super worried about that. But let's get back to the NBC board. Okay. Yeah, we can also kind of fill in some time if you guys have any general political questions. Happy to talk with you about that. We'll start going into some of this is one of the last big primary days of the year. Rhode Island and New Hampshire, they have primaries in September. But Maggie Goodlander, she's looking like she's in good shape to win renomination on the Democrat side. And the Senate seat in New Hampshire may get a little interesting in the fall, the general election. You have Chris Sununu, and it's going to be Chris Pappas as well. Chris Pappas, the incumbent Democrat from New Hampshire's 1st congressional district. He's going to be running in that seat for the Senate. That one could get competitive in the fall because New Hampshire does have a Republican governor, Kelly Ayotte. I think it's pronounced something like that. So she might have some coattails. She's probably going to win re-election. Let's see, 9675 says the U.S. Dem is cancer of the world full of murderers and supporting murderer members. Like the U.S. Dem Party, are you saying? And let's see if there were any other questions up here when the phone was a little further away. Okay. Oh, we'll just go back to, let's see. Yeah, we're going to have a ton of election coverage this fall. That's going to be a lot of fun. But it's not really looking great for Norman right now. Especially, he is just getting absolutely destroyed in these key counties in the 7th district. He was going to need to do better. Yeah. He only got about 10% of the vote in the first round. This was his weakest area in the first round. And it looks like the rally on Friday was a strategic one, and it might do him in, unfortunately. Spartacus, hey, what's going on? Spartacus says double tap your phone screen to like the stream. If you're new, please subscribe. All right, dude. Yeah, I appreciate that little message there, man. But here, let's see if Twitter has anything going on. Got some stuff about Hassan Piker. Yeah, I guess let's do some commentary on. I'm surprised Harrelson itself is semi-competitive, but for surrounding counties, are very bad for Ralph. Yeah, he's struggling where he needed to do a little better this round and where he performed poorly the first round. But yeah, did you guys see? So yeah, let's talk about here. It doesn't have to just be election results. I can spitball a little bit. So I think this last weekend, maybe on like Friday and Saturday and Sunday, there was some DSA convention or something where I'm sure you guys have heard his name by now. This fella named, let's see. All right, that might be a little better. And this guy named Hassan Piker. Still, it's been almost now, we're getting close to the September 10th date of when Charlie Kirk was assassinated last year. And let's just go to the beginning of Trump's second presidential term and what some of these figures, I'm not talking about the electeds on the left wing, like AOC or Jim McGovern or even like Harris or whoever, like Joe Biden. Let's talk about these, like the communist and the DSA and the socialist, just people on the street. Remember, all right, so let's go back to January, February, March of 2020. 2025. Remember when Doge was a thing? And Elon was trying to cut the deficit, trying to cut the budget a little bit. And remember, there were these attacks against Tesla facilities, parking lots, charging stations, car lots, etc., were all firebombed and lots of property damaged and destroyed just because he was just trying to cut the deficit. What was that? It wasn't right-wingers doing that. It was like, oh my gosh, Elon Musk is going to destroy the country if he's trying to save, trying to cut the deficit, trying to cut the budget a little bit. And that didn't really make any sense. Like, why would he respond by targeting his property? Why would you vandalize and potentially kill people for that? That's just one quick little example. I can't remember this happened during the president's term, but remember that Luigi Mangione guy. He killed the healthcare CEO, that executive. And remember, the left, they just like gloated and laughed. They were like, yeah, he deserves it. He deserved to die. Who gives a shit about him? The real victims are the people that are not able to get health care, that are being denied all the time. Maybe there wasn't as big of a defense for that because the guy had a lot of money, whatever, but still left behind a family. Still not really fun in that way. And then just keep going. And then Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. And people that like we work with, or not maybe me necessarily, but people that like you at home work with, instead of feeling like, oh my gosh, what happened? Their first reaction was to celebrate and with glee that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, a cold-blooded public execution in front of hundreds, if not thousands, of college students in Utah. For what all he was doing was talking. And they were excited because, like, oh, we just killed this Nazi. And the thing is, Charlie Kirk, he's more of a kind of a moderate Republican anyway. He wasn't even particularly that far right wing. And their first reaction was to get on TikTok and jump up and down and dance and celebrate in that regard. Okay, so nothing here on the election results. And that had to be a little disturbing, right? Like, why would their first reaction is to get on TikTok and film themselves? And they did this, it's almost such like a entitlement thing. You only do something like that is if you don't think there's going to be consequence or any punishment, or if you don't think you'd get caught. And they did this knowing that they were posting the stuff online forever in celebration that Charlie Kirk died. How does that make any sense? Or how would that be appropriate at all? And then still, this last weekend, they're still mocking his death. It's just, yeah, it's very sick. It's pretty sad. Let's see what we got here. USS Liberty, Aulden for Congress. Yeah, I mean, one of these days we'll get there, man. We're grinding each and every day, trying to get a little better every time we stream. Unfortunately, the map wasn't working for us tonight. I'm voting for Aulden next. For Aulden next season for voting. There we go, man. Yeah, we got some big midterms coming up. Unfortunately, I shouldn't even say unfortunately, but it's not looking like there's going to be a huge amount of change with these elections coming up, right? Dems might take the House, but the Uniparty, right? That's what we talk about all the time on the show. And let's see if anyone's texted into the show. Okay. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we can make this, yes, we're kind of waiting for election results to trickle in. It can be a Ask Me Anything stream as well. We'll try to be on as long as we can, because it's still like, 242,000 votes left. There's still definitely territory for Norman to squeeze this out. Here, we're going to do a quick check on Kalshi real fast. See if anything has changed in the past few minutes. Oh no, it's now only a 1% chance for Ralph to win. Not looking good. Yeah, if nothing changes in these 7th District counties, it's probably over, sadly. Yeah, that makes sense. This county where Trump held his rally gives Graham a boost. It looks like she's performing pretty well there right now, so. But here, let's see what we got. Give me 1 sec. All right, we're back. Oh, damn, I didn't see, we got up at 287 joules as well. I did not notice that, so thank you very much for that. Here, let's get a little poll on the screen. Let's get some discussion going. Yeah, maybe get some stuff going on. All right, perfect. Yeah, let's get this guy going. All right, yeah, let's get in this corner again. So that should not disrupt the television. Okay, great. Well, let's keep it there. That was an update. And there's still some counties that are going to go for Graham that haven't even reported any votes yet at all. So it's going to be a little difficult right now. Here, I'm going to try to get the Discord link in the chat as well. So give me 1 second here. He's not looking good at all. Okay, let me see if that looks okay, let me know. All right, perfect, yeah. All right, nice. Well, all right, guys. Well, it's looking like Norman is, he's trailing, and it's not looking very good for him right now. So, yeah, it's not going to be a very happy night for us, I think, unfortunately. She's going to net votes in the southern counties as well. Oh, where's my little notebook? And right now it's looking like exactly if all of the Fry voters went for Graham, that she was going to get about 52, 53, 54% of the vote. And for Norman and company, that if Norman got his base back out in the first round and also got the 2 marks, he'd be at around 46, 47, and with about half of the vote left. Now that's still a lot of votes, right? 200 some odd thousand, but it's not looking great. Yeah, so it's been a good stream. It's been some stuff to learn. It's definitely at a spot to where I had to think if there's like if I had like a co-host as well, somebody, kind of like what Kornacki's able to do. It's just kind of tough. Yeah, kind of tough. Just one guy to do it all the way. And look, we've done a lot of research into Darline. We've talked about this race a long time, ever since Lindsay passed away in July. So Greenville County, York County, Spartanburg, Lexington, Horry, Charleston, and Anderson. Those are the 7 main counties that we've been taking a peek at. And here, let's go back. And Horry. Man, there's still thousands of votes, though. Yeah, a lot of Norman's counties are starting to be exhausted. Their votes are being exhausted, and there's just not going to be many in Newberry or Greenwood County. The one thing that could save him, though, is that Greenville still has not reported really since that first initial update we got. Even if the problem is going to be if you got 12% in and about that's 7,000 votes is about 12 some odd percent of the vote. Let's just say, for the sake of math, that's 10% instead of 12. Yeah, he's only going to get about to make up to where she is right now. And he's going to run out of spots for votes. So it's running dry right now for his campaign. Here, let's go to Twitter real quick. Let's see what everyone's saying. Maybe we can share the screen on Twitter as well. Actually, should not, yeah. Yeah, it's looking like it's kind of over. But okay, so some ideas I've had about the show. We're probably going to start winding down the show here now, but something I've thought of, it is depressing. Yeah, it's not looking like it's going to go our way tonight. But something I have thought of is I need to find a way to where people can call in, especially on shows like this, if it's a slower news day or if we're just kind of hanging around for election results. Got to find a way to, I'll see if, I can get people to call in. Kind of like Rush Limbaugh or Sean Hannity or whatever, and talk with you guys. Because even though you guys can comment on the stream, not everyone does or can even, right? You have to have a particular account to leave a comment, and not everyone comments every time. So find a way to get more engagement that way. I think that would be fun. But it's also August recess as well, right? There's not really much going on in August politically. So it's also just kind of it's a little bit slower of a month than what we're used to anyway. Yeah, the amount of votes are starting to kind of run out. About 180,000 votes remaining. I wonder when/if they'll. So here, let's just start doing some of the math. She's already over 100,000. He's at 91. So he has to make up 13,000 votes somehow. Massive drop for Norman and the upstate holding off a call. Yes, yeah, this, the Greenville. If you go this, yeah. Greenville has only had one dump of votes for us so far tonight. We haven't gotten an update from Greenville in about 40 minutes or so. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you do the math, okay, wait, hang on. Okay, so we just had a massive dump in Greenville. Norman is about up 10 grand, so he cut into the lead by about halfway. He cut into that 13,000 vote lead, got it to about six or 7,000 votes lead now for Graham. But that's about half of the county as well. So he can make up the difference in Greenville alone. The problem is once Greenville is out of votes, where is he going to get these remaining votes? I don't know. It's going to be a little tough. Okay, so right now it's about 5,000, so there's still maybe a little glimmer of hope. Let's see if Cauchy has changed or anything. No, Cauchy, it's less than a 1% chance that he wins now on Cauchy. And now it's about 50, almost, so we're approaching 2/3 of the total vote has been recorded. And Greenville about halfway there. So yeah, his votes in Pickens are running exhausted. He did flip this county, which he needed to. So he flipped Oconee County. And maybe that's a very fancy way of saying no, not once. Spartanburg, he is, Fry is discussing. Yeah, it's a shame, man. You know, that seemed to really, it could have done Norman in. Because if Fry would have stayed neutral even or gone behind Norman, then maybe Norman would have a shot. And look, let's just, no, dude. Okay, so, we got a little update in Spartanburg. So she's up by about 7,000 votes left, or vote lead, excuse me, not left. Yeah, Fry, that was a pivotal one. So I have a buddy in D.C. He is from South Carolina, and we talked about especially after the first round of voting when it was dwindled down to Norman and Graham officially, is that Fry would be almost a kingmaker in this situation. And it's looking like he might have, and look, he probably got some deal from POTUS, right? But yeah, it's a shame that he did that though. So not particularly thrilled right now with that. Let's go back to Greenville. So yeah, we still got a lot of vote in Greenville. So it could be, and a lot of her counties, especially in this eastern part of the state, she's not going to gain that much, and they've been exhausted. Oh no, that's not good. There's still 40% of the vote remaining in Horry County, and that's the county where the president held the rally on Friday for Graham. That was also the last day of early voting on Friday, so it was strategically timed. Just trying to think of where, and there's still a couple counties that haven't even reported anything. So it's just now it's just getting to a point where I'm not sure where Norman's going to be able to find more votes. Yeah, it's looking like he's running out of electoral oxygen at the moment. Not great. Let's go back to Twitter, see if anyone is saying anything. Yeah, it's looking like it's kind of not looking very good for Norman right now. Kaushi still has Darline at a over 99% chance to win. We're really just, the problem for Norman is there's going to be no, he's running out of territory for votes. As I said at the onset, the very beginning of the stream, is that he was going to have to really run it up in his district and the surrounding counties and do better in the seventh district. And he's doing a little better, than he needed to in his counties, just the enemy territory where he is not polling high enough right now. And now the lead has grown back up to pretty much 10,000 votes. And now there's only 132,000 remaining. They're just not, you're running out of opportunity to catch up. Even though it still is like 52-48. Still realistically, it's a pretty close election. And I think the Taiwan comment made this a lot more competitive than it would have been. But it is looking like it is going to be a disappointing night. Once again, Norman, I've said this a couple of times, Norman is one of the most right-wing members in the entire Congress. Introduced the original SAVE Act back in 2020. And then we have this unknown quantity in Graham, who's probably going to get the nomination, and she'll win in November, and it's a lifetime appointment. She'll be there forever now. Now only 130,000 votes remain to be reported. Yeah, it's just popping off on her winning now. Norman got up to about 40. Wait. Andre, got a new viewer right now. Andre Chang 771 says, called it. Sad to know my political analysis and the office proves correct again. Yeah, Andre, so particularly where the president held his the rally on Friday in Fry's congressional district in Myrtle Beach, is looking like it's going to probably do well enough, right? Norman had to really run up. He was able to flip Ozone County, which is something he needed to do. And there's still a chunk of votes in Spartanburg County, but he's running out his other counties. He's running out of terrain to catch up. And Graham still has Let's see. Okay, so more votes have been reported in Horry County. It was about 59% a few minutes ago. Here, let's see. The primary winner here in this election are the lobbyists. A clean state senator who doesn't know anything combined with the inherited Senate staff team with deep ties to K Street. Right, yeah. Wasn't Tim Scott appointed by Nikki Haley? So now both of these senators, I think, have been appointments from Andre adds, perfect opportunity for corporate interests to begin molding Graham like silly putty. Major win for the renewable energy sector. Yeah, and something else she always says is, well, I trust Trump. I trust in Trump. Well, he's only going to be there 2 more years. What are you going to do after? What if there's a president AOC? What are you going to do then? Or if there's another kind of who knows? Like I don't think she's really sad. Well, clearly, if she's about to win, she's satisfied enough concerns. But it just goes to show, man, that no matter how right-wing or conservative you are, if you're not backed by the president, you can be a neocon. You can support regime change everywhere on planet Earth. You can totally abandon the agenda and not have any principles or actual beliefs, and you can win. So that's just kind of the sad state. Is this a black pill? Maybe. It's definitely not going to give anyone any hope, I think. Let's see. Let's see if we can get another chunk of votes coming in here. Okay, got another couple comments from Andre here. Says, if you haven't already, you should totally look into the Invest in Tomorrow Coalition PAC. It's actually fascinating to see how the Trump administration converged with the renewable energy lobby to screw over Ralph Norman. All right, the Invest in Tomorrow Coalition. Let's check that out real quick. Oh my gosh, yeah, that does make sense because in the debates, remember Norman, when Graham would try and attack Norman over you weren't with the president about the big beautiful bill or anything of that nature, he would go back to say how like dumb the energy tax credits were for renewable cars or yeah. So that does make sense, actually, Andre. All right, so we're down to 115,000 votes remaining. The lead has grown for the incumbent now. She's up by about 12,000. There's just really not he's running out of territory to catch up, it looks like. My guess is that they're going to start getting, we're probably going to get a call here. I'd say in the next couple minutes, I think. I don't think it's going to be, it's getting to that point. And let's see if anyone's texted into the show. Yeah. Well, I guess some breaking news today. I'm not sure. Oh, no, hang on. Okay, someone just said race called. 1212 says race called. Oh, no. Has it? Which station has said? It looks like NBC is still letting it play out. But I guess some breaking news today. I'm sure you guys have probably seen this by now. Dolly Parton passed away at the age of 80. I was actually with a relative, and that came across the ticker. So yeah, not really political, just something kind of fun there. Chuck Todd stream called the race. Okay, well, I guess they're probably operating under the same numbers that we are, but it's not looking good for Norman, though, no matter which way you put it. Now, get it to 53 of 47. That's still fine of an effort, but all right. So the Chuck Toddcast and company, they've called the race. And yeah, we could probably call it too. It's now her lead has expanded. Yeah, now it's looking at, what is that, 13,000 votes? I don't see how I just don't see where Norman has the opportunity left. And so they've added some more votes in Horry County. So nothing else in Greenville. So my guess is that NBC is probably, they're going to hold off on calling it until there's at least another tranche of votes released in Greenville County, but that's probably what's preventing it right now, ultimately. Because he might be able, if they release the rest of the votes in Greenville County, he might be able to get close to tying her again. It's just that outside of that county, he's got nowhere left. He's running out of time, unfortunately. So yeah, just slightly over 100,000 votes remaining. Andre Cheng with a low political analysis says Ralph Norman made a mistake with the over-reliance on Greenville County. Graham has mobilized too many moderates. Yeah, let's go to Norman. And even in the first round of voting, he really struggled in the 7th district. He finished 4th in a lot of those counties in this kind of eastern part of the area, or of the state, rather, I should say. And maybe he was just seen as too conservative by voters. South Carolina, obviously, right? Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, they're really not. That duo was particularly not very right-wing either. Tim Scott is the chair of the NRSC, for heaven's sakes. So you can't really be that outside of the establishment to get to that position. And it's just more, every update is a little worse and worse for Norman right now. Now we're officially under 100,000 votes remaining. The Dave 026 says, what are you talking about? Graham was super right-wing. He was like a huge war hawk. Well, I should say America First right-wing. Like on our kind of side of the right wing, we don't want regime change wars in the Middle East and all over the country. And Graham was, certainly, he probably would have supported regime change in Antarctica if he could have, right? He wanted regime change in Lebanon and Iraq, the Kremlin, and Beijing, and Libya, Venezuela, any of these other countries. Okay, oh no, more votes have been reported. It's now almost 20,000 vote lead. It's not looking like Norman, he's just running out of time now. It's probably just a matter of time until it's called, I'd say. Yeah. We've been here this long. Let's see how much longer we can hold off. It's not looking good, man. But yeah, what's going on, Dave? Haven't seen you in a bit, man. Great to see you tonight. Says I'm purple pilled. That's awesome. And the Dave says, I've been very busy, but not too bad. Scrolled past, thought I would sit in for a bit. Awesome, dude. Yeah, man, we're just doing some South Carolina election night coverage. We were actually, show you what we were hoping for. So I did a little checking around today. So I had this new system put together where hopefully the auto feed would feed into my model, and we'd have like our own purple election board and whatnot, and I'd be able to kind of go through the results and whatnot with you guys, but just didn't work out today. So we're just using the NBC election numbers tonight. I could manually type it in, but man, that would just take forever. Yeah, for all of these counties just to consistently, be typing and whatnot. But we'll get it fixed at some point. Yeah, thanks for stopping in the show, dude. Great to see you, man. Um, but yeah, we're still getting there. Yeah, it's now nighttime. It was evening. Yeah, missed the whole sunset covering the South Carolina Senate race. Uh, Mark Travis says, "What does her board say about John James? I want him to be my governor." What? Whose board? I should say. Yeah, see, look, just all of these areas where Norman was going to uh, have an opportunity. Wait. Oh, it is? Yeah, because I guess the camera is facing, uh, yeah, it is like a selfie mode right now for me. So I guess that does make sense. But then, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this is just kind of a temp setup. I won't be in this room uh, I'm not in DC right now, so doing a little August travel myself. So that's kind of the scenario we're in at the moment too. So let's see. Uh, her board, sorry, in Michigan. Yeah, John James won the primary. Um, so what are the odds of John James winning? You know that it's still really early. Yeah, for the general, it's still really early on a lot of these races. We'll just kind of have to see what some of the issues are as well, like the war in Iran that can change any moment. There could be some agreement about the strait, which would ease prices in the country. But yeah, there is a way. Yeah, so I'll have to flip the camera to where like the back, yeah, behind here is facing me, and then have a monitor to look. Yeah, right now I'm also kind of operating one monitor down. I usually have a monitor. Usually I have a monitor like to my side at my desktop back in DC. Yeah, they still haven't called, NBC hasn't called it yet. Only 91,000 votes remaining, though, not many votes left to be reported. Hey, what's going on, Chad, dude? What's up, brother? Mark Travis says anyone will be better than Big Gretchen Whitmer. Yeah, might not be the most popular governor. Jocelyn Benson, I know, is the Democrat nominee. She seems to be, she's probably just as left-wing as Whitmer. Oh, no. Guys, emergency. The race has been called for Darline Graham on NBC News. Norman put up a fight there. He got a little bit of momentum after the debate gaffe and with the Taiwan situation. Ultimately was not enough, though. Someone in the comment just made the point about the Fry endorsement, and Andre Chang said this as well. The Fry endorsement coupled with the Trump rally on Friday at Myrtle Beach, a county in Fry's district, ultimately was able to put Graham over the top. Probably the widow's mandate, name ID, familiarity as well. But yet we can now project that Darline Graham has won the nomination for senator for the U.S. Senate. Okay, well, yeah, Horry County, Norman just did not do, even if he did 10% better, if it was like 36 instead of 26% of the vote, he might have had it shot, but it's not looking like he didn't get his numbers up where he needed to. He did what he needed to in his territory, but ultimately was not able to chip in or chip off some of the lead. So, okay. Whitmer's not far left. She's also a centrist liberal at best, awful corporate Democrat. Chat says voted for Whitmer twice. She is a bad corporate Democrat. Andre Cheng says DSA got another victory in Oklahoma. Dave, let's go. DSA is the way. This is Alex. Is Darline Graham establishment? Yeah, I'd say 1212's description is pretty accurate there. She's right. She's running on the I love Donald Trump. I'll do what Donald Trump tells me. Okay, whoa, chat's starting to kind of blow up a little bit here. But yeah, she's definitely not anti-establishment by any means. A Miracle says Mondami saved America. David says Mondami ruined New York City. And Fan says GOP has given up. LOL at the spending as the GOP throwing in the white flag. And Dave says you clearly don't live there. What in reference to New York City? But yeah, guys, so if you're just now tuning in, breaking news, Darline Graham has won the runoff for South Carolina Senate. Norman not able to close the gap. Yeah, I wish he would have won too. You know, I was pulling for him, but it's been tough. Yeah, it's been tough for the right wing this year. We haven't. Massey went down. Chip Roy went down. Now Ralph Norman goes down to Darline Graham. Out of all people, yeah, her brother, the total opposite of what Trump ran for and believed in. Yeah, go tell that kid that the park reopened after 2 years, that the mayor sucks. Mondami is doing a great job. How did she win Ralph Norman? So much better of a pick. Why'd she win is that the president got involved, had that rally in Myrtle Beach on Friday. Russell Fry also got involved, endorsed. Ultimately, Ralph's endorsement, and Ralph probably did a little better than, actually right now it's looking like he's doing about as what we expected. It might get down to 20 points, or not 20 points, excuse me, 10. But all right, everybody, hey, if you're just now joining the live stream, it's starting to pop off a little bit, so make sure to leave the video a like. Also hit that subscribe button as well. Leave me a question. We've been covering the South Carolina election results all night, so would love to hear from you guys as well. Yeah, make sure, leave the video a like, subscribe. Also, hop in our channel's Discord as well. There's about 50 of us in there. We're sending memes and, having political debate and discourse all the time. So make sure to hop in there as well. Here, I'll repost the link in the chat real quick. Okay, great. So yeah, that's our Discord link. That should work. Says in the future, Aulden, apparently you can just use the Decision Desk HQ map. And maybe that would be something in the future that we can look into. I think that's a good idea. Fry's district is where she was proportionately her best area. Yeah, it seemed like Norman was not able to chip away of what he needed to at all. Yeah, all right, looks like he got a little bit of an update in Greenville County. But really in this, the 7th district was not good for her, or for him rather, at all. Okay, the Decision Desk. How bad do you think the GOP loses the House and Senate? Prediction. So for the House, you got to go, you have to do the House district by district. There's vulnerable seats. There's one in New York, Lawler. He's not screwed by any means. It's just going to be a little challenging for him to win re-election. There's a couple in Virginia that I'd say, particularly Jen Higgins' district and Virginia Beach. That's going to be a heavily targeted district. There's a couple in Michigan, in Pennsylvania. Tom Barrett's seat in Michigan, he's going to be heavily targeted. Rob Brashin and, the 7th and the 8th district in Pennsylvania, those are going to be tough to hang on to. You have the districts in California that are flipping, right? The redistricting there. There's a couple seats in Iowa that are going to be tough to hold on, like Mary Miller Meeks district. That's going to be a hard one to hang on to. So, like, if you just get enough of those at a time, enough of them will change. But the Senate, you're really looking at, there's about 5 or 6 states. The seat in Maine, if Susan Collins can survive, that's going to be one heavily targeted by Here, let's just pull up the Senate map right now, since we got the screen up anyway. Here. So yeah, let's just go to the Senate map and go through it together real quick. Yeah, I know it looks reverse on your guys' end, but yeah, okay. So the Alaska Senate seat, the incumbent Dan Sullivan, he's got another Dan Sullivan as a minor challenger, and he also has a tough Democrat within Mary Peltola. Peltola is a former statewide elected official, technically, even though she was the congresswoman from the district. There's only one. It's a small state by population. Biggest state in the country by land. It's actually twice the size of Texas, more than twice the size of Texas. But there's only about 750,000 people that live at the last frontier. So Sullivan, he has a tough Democrat challenger. Oh, wow, we got a lot of comments here all of a sudden. Yeah, and so Texas, you got Paxton versus Tallarico. That one seems to be a little, I'd say still probably lean Paxton, but it's becoming a toss-up in a lot of these analytical predictions. A lot of people are already thinking North Carolina is a flip already, with the former governor Roy Cooper taking on Michael Whatley. Whatley, most well known for being the former chair of the RNC. That's tough when you're running against a twice elected governor. And also remember this, every time Roy Cooper, even the last three Democrats, they've won at least the last three governor elections in North Carolina. North Carolina has their state on the presidential year, and they won it every time Donald Trump won the state on the presidential level. Democrats won it for the governor level. So Cooper has a history of winning when Trump's on the ticket already, and in a blue, what's likely going to be a blue year when he's not on the ticket, Cooper looks to be in solid footing in North Carolina. Ohio, you have a relatively unknown GOP incumbent there. No one really knows anything about John Husted. In the media, right, when people try to come up and talk to him, he's kind of mum there. He doesn't really speak that much. And he's kind of also being weighed down by Vivek being on the governor ticket. Vivek is not exciting grassroots Republicans. If you look at Kalshi, Amy Acton, the Democrats, up to about 55% victory percent chances. In Michigan, now this is probably the only state the GOP is going to have a chance at taking territory in, because El Sayed is, he might freak out some moderates there. Iowa, I still think it's probably lean Ashley Henson, the GOP candidate in Iowa. Henson might not be as well known, but also Josh Turek, the Democrat nominee, he's not as well known. But Turek, he's going to gain a little bit. He'll get some coattails from Rob Sand, who's the Democrat gubernatorial nominee. I know, man. Yeah. So Rob Sand, he's probably in a better shot to win the governorship than they are the Senate seat there. And then obviously in Maine, we've already talked about Maine. So that's a little brief overview of the Senate map right now. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I know. It's just, I wish Norman would have won. A lot of people did. Like, it's just that's what you have. Here's the thing about Trump right now. He still has control over the party, because just look at the messaging about war in Iran. 10 years ago, he's the candidate that's against regime change wars in the Middle East. And then after he starts the war in Iran, the supporters rush and rally to defend him. And they say he's always been for regime change in Iran. He wasn't talking about Iran when he was talking about the Iraq war being stupid. And so, today, what probably happened, along with the widow's mandate situation in South Carolina, the Fry endorsement, and Trump telling them go and vote for her, that's probably what did it, honestly. As I've said, Norman is the most conservative member in the South Carolina congressional delegation by far. It's not even competitive in that regard. He was the original sponsor of the Save America Act in 2020. And I even think he encouraged Trump to implement martial law following the 2020 election. So I don't know how you can get more right-wing than that. Someone do the ad read again? All right, here. Yeah, we've been on a little, it's almost 2 hours now. We won't stay on super much longer, because I do kind of got to eat dinner a little bit. And my family has been so kind enough to sit outside, sit in another room while I kind of occupy the family room here. So I don't want to deprive them from the family room the entire time. But we'll stay on a couple more minutes, though. Here, let's go to the ad read again. That's about 2 hours. I think I can do a little, do I donate to you? There is super chat feature. We did get one super chat so far this evening from Jenny Harrell. Gave us a $9.99 super chat earlier, and a couple of people left some gems as well. So you can do the super chat option. Would definitely appreciate that. It would help us with August travel and getting more equipment as well. But okay, so let's do our ad read right now. Hey everyone, I want to thank today's sponsor, Compass Caging LLC. Compass Caging is a Washington, D.C. based contribution processing company, also known as Caging, serving campaigns, PACs, and nonprofit organizations across the country. Compass helps organizations process campaign contributions and donor mail accurately, securely, and efficiently, allowing them to focus on advancing their mission. Compass Caging is proud to work with a number of leading organizations across the nation, including major PACs, policy groups, and legal advocacy organizations. If you're involved with a political campaign, PAC, or nonprofit that's looking for a trusted contribution processing partner, I'd love to connect you with the team at Compass Caging. You can reach out to me after the show, and I'd be happy to make an introduction. Yeah, so Compass Caging LLC, great company. Lots of great patriots working for them. So we definitely would love to connect you with their personnel after the show if you're interested in some of their services. The question is, will David Jolly win? I don't think so. I think he'll probably lose to Byron Donalds in November. I don't see. Florida has become a state where Dems are not competitive really anymore in the state. They just had redistricting occurred, so their federal Florida Democrats are only going to be reduced after this election, probably no matter what. Here, let's go to the House district in Florida. And we'll wait for this guy to populate. Oh, wow, really? That's cool that you know him. Must be a great guy. But yeah, Domenico, there should be a little button down where you can super chat though. Okay, so here's kind of the House map right now with all, I think Alex W. was mentioning earlier with the gerrymandering, Dems won't gain as many seats as maybe in a normal year, and that's true. Because like even in Alabama, Shamari figures, we've talked to that congressman on the show before. He's being redistricted out, and in Louisiana as well. Cleo Fields, his district is being drawn out as well. So that's two already. Indiana held off this cycle. A couple of, like South Carolina, Jim Clyburn's seat is still alive. Aulden, if you had a bet, would you bet GOP keeps Senate control? I probably would. I don't think I'd bet a paycheck on it, but I'd be comfortable maybe betting like $100 or $200 maybe. I think they're probably more likely than not to retain it, but it could be a bad, like you just don't know what's going to happen in these individual races because they're all so unique in the sense that the Alaska race, it's like not a normal race because you have the other Dan Sullivan in there. So if you have these unknown quantities that are kind of inserted right? It makes it just tougher, makes it more unpredictable. But yeah, like the couple Iowa districts. So like this, I think this is Mary Miller Meek's district, and I think this is Zach Nunn's district, and this is Ashley Henson's district up here. So maybe if they don't have the incumbent, it's going to be a little harder there. This is Derek Van Orden's district in Wisconsin's 3rd congressional district. He is, I think there's I think he's some people have been alleging he's an alcoholic or struggles with alcohol. You also have, so Dems, they're going to be spending a lot of time and money in that district. This is Tom Barrett's district, Michigan's 7th congressional district. Barrett is by far the most endangered Republican incumbent in Michigan running for re-election. Right down here, you can barely see it, but you have John James, his congressional district here in Michigan. He is running for governor. Let's see if you can like go up. Yeah, like right here. He's the GOP nominee for governor. I think a commenter a few minutes ago was discussing, was hoping he'd win. So this Ohio district right here, this is Marcy Kaptur's district. She's been a member of the House of Representatives since the 1980s. Ohio did do some redistricting, and it definitely endangers her. She only won by 1,000 or 2,000 votes in 2024. So her voting base has slowly been eroding over several years. She comes as this white working class Democrat, and as those voters have slowly turned away from Dems, her voting share has shrunk. Right down here, this North Carolina district, this is North Carolina's 11th congressional district. Chuck Edwards, the incumbent, just had to drop out of the race a couple days before the filing deadline because he had an alleged inappropriate relationship with a female staffer. So that creates, the GOP, they lose the incumbency advantage there. Here, let's see what else we got. So right here in Colorado, this is Congressman Gabe Evans' district from the 8th district in Colorado. It's just a swing district in general. This is going to be one of the seats that Dems are going to have to win in November in order to reclaim the chamber, I think. Blue wave incoming. Do you think the establishment Dems might try to sabotage some of their DSA candidates? Maybe they view a stronger DSA-flavored wave of Democrats a greater threat in the long term? Potentially, and I've thought about that as well, because it's like a short-term pain for long-term gain situation in their case. But the thing is, I'm not sure if they can stop it. They can delay it, but I don't think they can really stop what's coming ultimately. And if anything, it's just going to piss off the DSA more and more. And some of the only races where they can really do that is in Michigan. It's the El Sayed's race. They can really only try and stop because all of these other districts, like the Denver, Colorado district, the Republican is not going to be able to win that. So a lot of the primaries they've won are just safe, very urban blue districts. So the only one race I think that could really happen in is El Sayed in Michigan. Let's go to Arizona. So they're not showing these as competitive, but you have Arizona's 1st and 6th congressional district. David Schweikert from the 1st district ran for governor. He lost to Andy Biggs, so that creates an open seat there. And this 6th district, John Juan Huasami, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's running for re-election. So the GOP, they keep the incumbency advantage there, but it's still going to be tough because if you've seen polling, it looks like Katie Hobbs is polling okay right now to maybe survive. And then obviously you have these California districts, right? Let's go to, oh wait, what's this? Yeah. Oh, whoopsie. Some of these other districts. Yeah, you have Don Davis's district here in the 1st congressional district. You got the Tampa district with Castor. She's kind of in danger. You also have the Moskowitz district now. And then, yeah, here's like the Jen Kagan's district in Virginia. So, Occupy Nance, LMFAO. I think Dems take Senate, but possible still would bet against. I think GOP will lose the House. Okay, well, all right, guys, we've been talking a lot of politics tonight. But I think we're going to shut the stream down, though. Yeah, it's been a little over 2 hours. If you're just now tuning in, sadly, Ralph Norman went down to Darline Graham in the runoff. Definitely not good for America First or our kind of right-wing politics. Disappointing result there. But we'll be back. We might do some in the field streams later this week, though. We're probably done with the desktop here at this location. But we'll be around. Yeah, we might do stream tomorrow morning-ish, and maybe Friday as well. Yeah, we'll do Purple Friday. Yeah, we got to do Awoken Wednesday, always, and Purple Friday. But yeah, guys, tough election tonight. Sadly, yeah, I think we all kind of saw this coming. Unfortunately, it is a black pill though. So, but okay, boys. Well, all right, Chad, Spartacus, great to see you. Thank you, 121, for hanging out with us. Andre Chang, Dominico AW. Thank you, Jenny Harrell, for the super chat. So, all right, guys. Well, you guys have been awoken with Aulden. Much love, and we'll